Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your boy ER Hunter, aka Earth. Welcome to the Rhetorical Sake. Today, it's episode 10. I'm going to be breaking it down about daring to be different. That's right, daring yourself to be different. So, I'm going to go through my process, my experiences living here in Southern California, but I'm also going to leave some tips at the end to help you manage life that are helping me. Appreciate having y'all. Shout out to the UK listeners. Shout out to my people in Alaska. Thank y'all so much. New York, Virginia, love you guys. Welcome to the show.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, what's Gucci, everybody? I'm so stoked that the show's growing in popularity, so I figured if I'm gonna preach this gospel, I gotta taper it up. I know the singing intros are probably a little rough and a little weird, and the recent episodes, you post it and it's out there, and I'm not gonna go back and repost episode 9 because I believe in authenticity, and it's taken a long time to get to that point. So that's kind of what I was inspired to talk about today. It got brought to my attention living in the now last night, even just studying this. I'm preparing for the LSAT. It talks about staying in the moment, because it's not that the questions are that hard. It's more so that you got to endure the time it takes to answer them and stay focused. So they were talking about a Zen approach, and that talks about living in the now. And then this new song called Focus featuring 21 Savage. I don't know if it's that new. It's new to me. And Bazzy. It's funny because I just get in these modes where I'll just listen to podcasts. I won't listen to music, even though I found a recent artist, Bazzy or Bazzy, however you say his name. Sorry for screwing that up. But I really appreciated that song Beautiful featuring the female singer, and that's what got me playing his tracks on shuffle on Spotify. And so Focus came on. I was reminded when I was studying, taking the Zen approach, living in the now, and that's pretty much what focus is, in my opinion. Being present in the moment. And it got brought to my attention later in the evening. Grabbed coffee with a buddy of mine. Got to vent a little bit. And, those interpersonal relationships are so vital. They're so vital to my well-being, maybe to yours too, if you can relate. But I really loved, when I was living in this old Victorian house in Harvard Heights in Los Angeles with 10 other people. And the house was literally split in half with the wall. So it was kind of like 2 condos, but it was like a 100-year-old house. And there's a ghost story for that, actually. My female friend down in St. Thomas, your chick, she was living there at the time, and this really cool cold burst of air came from above us and kind of just flew over across us, and we were both sitting on a love seat, and we both shivered, shuddered. We were like, ooh. We looked at each other. I was like, you felt that? And she agreed. So I don't know what that was, but we were not trying to have that experience again. So any case, I just really like being surrounded with people, because then you start, creating experiences rather than waiting for experiences to happen. But, creating experiences gets a little weird. And, I get a little weird on this podcast. It's new to me. It's new to you guys. But I think it's worth it. I definitely think it's worth it, because I have a lot of life experience. And if I die tomorrow, I will die happy knowing I told somebody. So, that's my motivation, whatever. And I just recently heard, you don't have to really ask what your purpose is. You just call it forth. And this is me talking and sharing, and storytelling has just fallen out of me. Now, unfortunately, with the podcast, I'm not doing, debating, public speaking, where I've memorized a 12-minute speech verbatim that I wrote in order to win some competition, because that's how I got a lot of my scholarship money for college. So you guys kind of suffer because I'm very analytical on what I say, hence rhetoric. And, I want to also be considerate of different perspectives. So, but you know what? I kind of care too much about what people think. And so I'm working on that. Maybe you're working on that too. You can relate. So today's topic is daring to be different. And I know I'm daring myself to be different and not complacent with my status quo. Um, because, I could use chronic pain as an excuse. But the more research I'm doing, the more I'm investing in finding out how to resolve this, the more I'm realizing there's a big mental aspect to it. There's a big mental aspect to it. So, I'm rewiring a lot of my lifestyle. And that I think is a neurological approach. I think starting new habits, leading a healthy lifestyle, my mind, my neuron synapses are certain ones that are dusty or haven't ever, fired off or firing off because my body, I'm making my body do these things in sequence. And, you know, the test is staying in the moment for me every day because I will accumulate time like 3 months and lose weight and get in great shape and, feeling esteemable, start leading that clean life. And, you know, it just kind of fades. Sometimes that light just dims. And I don't know if it's from social media and cell phone usage. I know Ayanla, I was listening to an interview with her and Oprah, and she was talking about, and I think she actually referenced someone else that she was quoting, but this theory, idea, and that our cellular devices, these black mirrors, these lights, are dimming our inner light. I also, could compare that to like Moses and his rod. And it's like, use what you have in your hand. And God told Moses to strike with his rod, struck with the rod, water came out of the rock, turned into a snake, all that cool stuff. And that big book we've all know to come and love, I hope. And take it, with a grain of salt, of course, wherever your heart leads you. Because I'm definitely trying to invest more in Buddhist meditation practices because there is a form of prayer. I don't know if he's a doctor, but I think he's a monk, Richard Rohr. If you're not on his email list, I would highly recommend if you are a secular Christian like me or just, agree with the tenets of Jesus Christ. Maybe not the whole religiosity of it. Like, I'm not religious, I'm a spiritual type thing. Richard Rohr is a great resource. He sends emails every night, and it's really cool. It's really invested, valuable information, kind of based in historical context, biblical, but he uses a lot of different sources, a lot of different academics he quotes and references. So now his theme is nonviolence, and it's cool. Sometimes you just gotta open yourself up to somebody else's theme for a while. If I want to have that spiritual connectedness with my higher power, then I'm going to take the time to read from someone that's got what I want. Not to be duplicated, but slightly imitated, and that's okay. It's like working out at the gym or something. I sometimes want to imitate the guys that are freaking shredded. I am going to curse on this. I know I talk about God and Jesus, but I'm not a pastor. So I'm just talking from my experience. So sometimes things are worth, dropping in a little fuck here and a shit there and a damn it. Or a fuckhead girl I learned from an elder in my family while driving. Hadn't heard that one before. In any case, daring to be different. I should probably dare my tongue to be a little different. Initially, it starts out very enthusiastically for me. It has been. And it's about embracing who I am and myself and leaving the past in the past. Going on a drinking bender, financially squandering some money or whatever, not being astute or moral as much as we'd like to be. I could beat myself up all day about how I've been behaving all summer. But I'm not going to do that. And that's different from my previous behavior. But the more I surround myself with people that remind me not to do that, and when you start venting and talking to people, you hear yourself. And so if I hear myself complaining about something or venting about something to one friend, and I'm doing it again to another, I should probably let it go because it's not worth it. They probably don't want to hear about that negative stuff. So I'm working on that. I want to be somebody that people want to be around on an interpersonal level. Because at a party, a social event, a gathering, you'll love me. I'm a great entertainer, MC, blah, blah, blah. But on a one-on-one level, when you start to get that intimate relationship, intimacy, Jake's said it best, into me, see. He broke the word down. And I studied rhetoric and why people say what they do. So little things like that kind of give me butterflies. Yeah, I still get butterflies. Oddly enough, my big ass walking my dog freaking jumped when a butterfly came into my peripheral. And that was a little embarrassing. And then the butterfly kept kind of following me around while I was walking my dog, and I don't know, maybe it was some type of like angel or like spirit of someone passed, because I watched Elisa Ling, her documentary series on CNN. Great stuff. Of course, I jumped to the one about mediums, people talking to like the dead, and I think it was hers that they did. They told her, look out for butterflies. And her sister called her at the end of the episode, spoiler alert. And she said, I was out in the yard with the kids, and it was so crazy because these two butterflies were just hanging out with us. And she was like, remember the medium said that? So anyway, butterflies kind of took on a symbolic trope for me, so to speak. And yeah, apparently I'm a big wimp when it comes to flying insects. So I guess I started realizing I was different more recently, towards the end of my 20s. Now, just turned 30 years old. I made it. Black man in America making it to 30. Woo! Good Lord. God has been watching out for me for sure. I got a concussion last year when I was hit by a drunk driver, and I suffer from post-concussive syndrome. I think I'm saying that right. So memory, speech, a little bit of motor function, and, it's frustrating sometimes. And so I realized this is going to be a much longer journey because I started to realize I was different than I was before. And I had to think a lot more about things I didn't have to think about. And that's really when the seed got planted. And obviously I think that's divine intervention, the universe, my higher power, whatever, slowing me down. And from what I gather, life is change. It's constant change. If I'm not changing, if, hair's not coming out of my body or something, or if I'm not changing or something's not changing, then it's dead. It's like that fig tree or the olive tree that Jesus curses in the Bible. It wasn't bearing any fruit. So let me just put you out of your misery, homie, because you just might as well step into the kingdom. I don't think Jesus, I think trees, trees that die. There was a palm tree that got chopped down the street from me. Sad, man, because like trees can talk to each other under the ground through the roots. It's like a interfamily connected one. And it's just, I think that there are trees that have been killed here that are in heaven. Why not? The vastness of it, the lushness, the interdimensionality. Roll with me if you like. In any case, so yeah, I could either fight it, and I did try to fight it, and I've gone on drinking benders. I'm just mad at how a turn of events played out. But me having a temper tantrum in my 20s and acting out by drinking and isolating, it's not helping anybody. So the more I get invested with others and harbor, nurture friendships, the more I see a return on that investment. And it's a really great investment. My body is sore, but my spirit is vibrant. Hitting the gym every day this week so far. No, I didn't go yesterday, but I did go on a run. And it's extremely hot where I'm at. So I utilize the dry heat, kind of as a sauna, getting that heart rate up. I know doing it in the morning, just revving my metabolism. That works for me and my body type. It's the consistency I have to stick with. And I struggle with that on a physical level and on a spiritual level and on a mental level. So having post-concussive syndrome opened up my eyes to a drastic change. And I've come a long way from that summer last year, a year ago. Wow. Because stuttering when you are a speech competitor, when that's how you have a degree in rhetoric, and then not being able to speak right or correctly, it's frustrating. And it's confidence. It's an ego blaster. Gets in there like gangbusters. Bang, bang. So I had to learn to accept, embrace, and start, getting better, start getting stronger. I'm not going to, redevelop my speech by isolating and staying at home depressed. Getting out, hanging out with people, working those neurons, getting those motor skills back, holding the coffee, not having the shakes, having the shakes, things like that. Really started this. And I think that's why I've gotten really invested in investing in myself, writing my books, believing in myself, producing this podcast. And I hope it encourages somebody else too. And maybe, shout out to, I was looking at the geographics of listeners, and like there's people in the United Kingdom listening, and I really appreciate it. I was just driving a couple of guys that were from the UK, and we were talking about fish and chips and how that's really not a nice meal. Because I was like, is it true you guys eat that? He's like, yeah, maybe like after you, how do you say it? It's not the type of place you go, to sit down and have a meal, however they say it in their British accent. So that might have been a little too Australian. Embracing my uniqueness, embracing my difference, embracing myself. Daring myself to do that. Daring myself to love myself. Are you daring yourself to love yourself? Or whatever, you can't let go of that just is always in the back of your mind, beating you up, beating your ego up, beating your intuition up, And I'm really grateful my eyes got open to the importance of intuition while I was entering a situation that for me was emotionally dangerous and a bit, emotionally reckless, but risks are worth taking sometimes, depending on the return on investment. So socially, it was good for me, establishing my dominance, showing my confidence, walking around with my chest out, shoulders back, chin up, smiling, looking people in the eye. And literally, like, low blood pressure, not anxious. That was divine intervention. Like, I can't take responsibility for that because there's no reason I shouldn't have been a nervous wreck. So, it's a testimony. There's just this problem with conformity that I have. And for me, I didn't want to go down that route. Excuse me. Sipping some agua with some of that hydrate turmeric from Layered Superfood. Gets into that inflammation and those hypertrophic muscles that need oxygen and hydration. I had a really good pump this morning, and I'm still kind of dazed from it, so excuse me. But at the same time, I don't want this to be too aggressive. There's a problem with conformity. And so I thought by attending this event last weekend and, seeing, meeting, greeting this person that caused me so much heartache and pain for several years of my life, I thought it was giving my family their cake and letting them eat it too. It's like, okay, so y'all told me to move on, and now I'm making it look like I'm moving on and I just let it go. But that's not how I want to be loved. However, I did want to be there for my great-grandfather, who we were, celebrating his 90th birthday party, one of his 90th birthday parties. And, this has been a little controversial for my family. And I could go in like a raging bull and get just as angry and nasty and verbally abusive and emotionally abusive. But in part with daring myself to be different lately with not drinking, got 8 days of sobriety under my belt right now, working out, running, clean eating. I have my little cheats. I got my little cheats. I'm not going to lie. I found a little snack I used to have as a kid every once in a while over by West End Mall from this Jamaican restaurant. And I found a place that had the exact same Jamaican beef pates. And so, I treat that as a meal. And those have been the carbs I've been eating, unfortunately. So I got to dare myself harder. I got to really go all in. This is great. That's why we're here. I do have to dare myself harder because I'm doing great on portion control. I'm doing great on the balance with exercise and recovery, getting great sleep. Let me tell you something. L-theanine, I might name my child or my next dog L-theanine because that's my go-to babe. That's my boo boo. That's my when I put on that binaural beats on the Echo and turn down the lights. I didn't pop that L-theanine, about 30 minutes before, and it makes you feel good. It really relieves the anxiety, and it's a natural supplement. The capsule I take is like made by this all-natural company, and it's got a little melatonin. It's like a 4-to-1 ratio, L-theanine and melatonin. But that helped me get through withdrawals from alcohol as well. I wouldn't recommend that. Obviously, go get your professional help when you need it. But I needed to sleep because the lack of dopamine from insomnia makes you hallucinate. It makes you get disoriented, weak, irritable, anxious, and I'm already prone to a quarter of those things. So I utilized it because the pharmaceutical industry failed me. I go to the ER, get out of the ER, have a prescription. I go to a pharmacy near my family's house because I can't detox alone. You think you can, or I didn't even know I was detoxing the first time I detoxed, but I've had gnarly hallucinations, gnarly points where I was about to have a seizure, and it's not, worth my life to get fucked up all the time. Um, but things come up, and we get a little delusional. You get a little money under your belt. You get a little confident. You get on your feet as a grown man. Go on a little bender. Experience a little heartbreak, a little heartache. You start thinking about the one before that, and then you wonder why the fuck aren't I drinking right now? So the fact that I'm here sober today is a miracle, and I'm grateful. So the problem with conformity, I felt like I was conforming with my family, but it's okay to be in the world and not of the world. And sometimes you have to be the change that you want to see. And it's funny because I got a compliment from my cousin, and I was sitting in the back, at this little table that was like, it's part of the edifice of the building of the Elks Lodge around this fireplace. Nobody else was there, just two chairs. So I knew nobody else would sit there. It was kind of dark. And my cousin's like, boy, you back here looking just like your mama. And, I was like, okay, I got to take that, and sometimes you get compliments that you're not expecting or you didn't think you could handle, because that would usually set me off because I'm like, well, she's not here, all this stuff. But I love my family and we're strong. It's a high pressure season uh, because my great grandfather has turned 90 years old, and he was one of the first black Marines. Oh, he has, shared with me stories of having to train at Mumford Point, South Carolina, next to the white boot camp, and where the blacks, African American boot camp or colored boot camp was a swamp. And he talks about how the white soldiers, Marines would throw snakes into their barracks, and just made life a living hell. and he served in the Korean War. He traveled, with the Navy as a cook. He's got a degree in nutrition. He's badass. And who would have thought, me and him get along like two peas in a pod. They're like 3 generations down, or 2. Yeah, I don't know. But look at him who dared to embrace his difference, despite, he didn't have to go, but he always wanted to. He doesn't have a birth certificate. He was adopted in New York City. Like, he's got a hell of a story. And I've actually gone to the National Library in New York City, and I've looked up the birth records, and I've seen the unidentified, birth record certificate numbers in books under these projector style machines. And it was very surreal to do that. But I wanted to investigate this, and we've done some DNA tests, but there's nothing like knowing, some people's names and some backstories. And, he's got stories. So maybe I can convince him to interview with me. But man, talk about him, daring to be different. And he dared to be different and didn't get a gold medal, Medal of Honor, until 2011 here. That's when they awarded all these African American, the first Black Marines in his battalion or troop, whatever. They finally recognized them. Obama did. And it's pretty darn cool. It's pretty cool to be a part of. So what family wouldn't, want to celebrate? And we're just going to keep the party going. But he's a good inspiration for daring to be different in the face of adversity and just conformity. I mean, how do you conform when your civil rights are being violated? Even today in the workplace. How do you conform? It's just these glass ceilings for not just women, I think, but for people of color as well. And it's like we're trying to get in without losing ourselves. So that's the challenge, and I beat myself up. But I've gotten in, and I didn't like it. So now I'm out, and I'm doing my own thing, and I'm embracing my difference. And it's scary, and it's insecure. But that's also why I want to talk about it, because I need to remind myself and maybe remind others why it's okay to be you. Because it's easy to go buy a pair of Nikes and, fitted jeans and a chain and a sweater that I saw on GQ, or, it's easy to look like everybody else. But sometimes I just want to rock my rainbow flip-flops, and I do all the time. Some shorts and a tank top, and not worry about, looking like the number one stunner when I go to the grocery store. And that's okay. I know we're all like that. But it's like, why does that make me feel bad? It's a social sanction almost, if you have that construct in your mind. Obviously, I'm grown, and I don't really care what people think about what I wear anymore. But there is a high you get from being one of those guys, from being cool, and it's hard to keep not being cool sometimes. So you splurge a little bit. And, I got some Nikes. I never wear them. They're super nice. I got 2 pairs. But I'm a sandals guy. I used to kick off my shoes, my mom said, when I was a baby. So I just never fucked with shoes like that. And there's a relevance to being yourself. And that's because there's only one you. You could even be a twin, but there's only one you. So, good old water. So, this got my mind blown when I was pledging my fraternity, and someone told me while I think it was actually Rush, wasn't even pledging yet. They're kind of interviewing us or whatever, and he called me out, and he was like, "You're saying the same thing that he said." He was like, "You're trying to tell me what you think I want to hear." He was like, "I already got a Steven. I already got a Nathan. We need an Eric. Is that you?" So, be yourself. Because there's no one like you. And the world needs that. We need that for social diversity, social survival, communication, life experience, a network, a system, a species doesn't survive unless it adapts, and adaptations often come through diversity. So you can quote me on that or try to reference somewhere, but I got that from some scientific references. So it's like an external dare, because now I'm daring people to accept me for being more engaged in my spirituality, not drinking, trying not to be an asshole, pretty much. So, with my family issue, I could get all heated and hot and bothered and, start drama, or I could be slow to anger and try to embrace the fruit of the spirit and just, be logical and breathe and think about it. And so I've been doing that, and it kind of pisses people off. When you do not get angry with them, when you don't conform, they're like, you're not on my team. And it's like, no, I'm on everyone's team. I'm on the greater good. Like, that's where I'm at. That's my batting average is bad. So I'm trying to, raise that up. You dig? And I have an issue with, interpersonal critiques. I'm sensitive. I'm a sensitive guy. And, I've been on television. I do public speaking. But my best friend, he told me in high school, he's like, when you're on stage, you're a totally different person. And I can relate to that. Some artists talk about like blacking out through their whole performance for these legendary performances. And I can totally relate. Like, I get that because it happens when you know your routine, when you know your song, when you're in the moment. And it sucks sometimes because it's like disassociation, but you're so someone else that you just give it all that. Like, that's living in the moment. And you talk about daring to be different. Acting is the number one dare. Can you do it over and over all day? And not bitch about it. Thought you wanted to be famous, ho. You can't even stay overtime because we didn't give you lunch. No, I'm playing. That's messed up. I would definitely complain. I'd be out. I'd be like, give me my $150 and I'm calling SAG. Call my agent. So changing my attitude, that is easy in the beginning. Maintaining this positive attitude to be okay with being myself, that's where it's like I got to fight for this. And it's like a fire. It's like a light on the inside. And if I'm not feeding the fire, then it's going to burn out. You got to feed it embers. What's that wood? What am I feeding to keep my flame going? Because my mind is like wind. It's just blowing it out. It's just like cold atmosphere inside of my head when I start doubting myself, when I start, oh man, I shouldn't have put that out on the podcast, or, I'm singing, what the heck am I doing? Like, it sounds so stupid or whatever. I'm never going to get sponsors. The devil is a lie. I bind that in the name of Jesus. I am getting sponsors. I actually just shook hands with the gym, the manager today, just breaking the ice. And it's cool to get invested in the community like that too. Start showing your face, start smiling, start letting people know you're about something. That helps me know when I am alone in my room, I am about something, because I did that today. I opened that network, and the potential is endless. And someone taught me, the worst thing somebody could say is no. That's the worst thing. You ask someone a question, the worst thing they could say is no. If I can go in with a mentality strong enough to accept no, then I can ask the question. And it's worth a lot of times for me to roll the dice, because I might get a yes. And that yes, from the right one, or just from acceptance or agreement, that's awesome. That's what networking is all about. So keeping that light brilliant, the attitude brilliant, the brilliance inside, that soul fire for resilience, and to keep going and to keep eating clean, and, to not just throw in the towel on the podcast and the writing the book, because the pressure's on. The pressure's on. But you know what? I believe in God. I believe in myself. And I believe in my projects. And, I'm grateful for any and everyone that has helped me just by listening to the very first ones to the most recent, because they're only going to get better. And that's the thing. They're going to get better the more I keep being myself, because we already got a Tony Merkel. We already got NPR. We already got Radiolab. You know, we got Monsters Among Us. We got Spooked. We got Oprah. We got Sarah Jakes Roberts. We got Elevation Church. We got all that. Do we have ER Hunter? Do we have extra resources that help Earth? So that's why I'm here. And someone, you know, that has been a positive influence to me over the years, the most recent years, they reminded me, they said, don't be a shooting star. Don't just fly by, shine bright, and then die out. I love that line in that movie Neighbors when Dave Franco, he was like, I'm a supernova. I shine bright and I die young, bro. I love that line. I love it and I hate it because it's like, I don't want to die young, but it's such a great metaphor. So well done. But yeah, this guy was like, don't be a shooting star. Don't just, shine bright. Start getting invested with your tribe, going to meetings, getting sober, getting good with your family, getting good with your friends, getting good in your finances, and then just go dark. And I've done that over and over. But what I'm going to keep doing over and over is getting back up as long as I can. And I'm hoping this momentum I'm building, a body in motion stays in motion, a spirit in motion. Does that stay in motion? What am I doing? What is causing friction against my spirit in this motion and this positivity? Because environmental stuff is going to happen. It might be an uphill battle sometimes, but that doesn't mean I got to throw rocks in front of it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to build divots to make myself stumble because of my doubt or insecurity, and neither do you. So, I believe that a spirit in motion stays in motion. What's my vector? Am I going horizontal? Am I going vertical? Am I slanting and doing both? Though it's that balance. I kind of think that's where I should be. It should be a straight vector right in the middle of X and Y on a constant, 1-to-1 grade upscale trend. Getting closer to God, getting closer with more people. That's some beautiful numbers right there. And that's my vector. My vector can't be your vector. We got two different vectors. We got two different lives. So that's the dare. Can I dare myself enough to disassociate my life from yours, from conformity, from social norms? Can I be a little weird? Can I sing on my podcast a little bit? Can I be the overweight guy at the gym that's doing stuff that skinny guys do? You know what I mean? Can I be that guy? Hell yeah. Be whatever I want. So you can too. That's what it's all about. I really thank God because he downloaded like I'm his iPad, hopefully more like a laptop. I don't know, with a pocket knife and a fire starter and a teleporter. Yeah, I'm like that instrument for God. And he downloaded to me a new book, and it's to help people. And it's going to be pretty sweet. But let me tell you something. I'll tell you the theme. I'm not going to tell you the title. But really the idea is that, no matter where you're at, how you look, how you're feeling, and I know you've probably heard this before, you can change, you can change. Change is such a heavy word sometimes. It's more so, I think, you can start. You can begin. And if it's just for 30 seconds, if it's just for a minute, and that's all you do today, that's something. And you can add a penny a day, 5 more seconds tomorrow, maybe 30 more seconds. Start getting those endorphins and reinforcing with positivity. So, a little piece of dark chocolate, a little sweet, a little something like that with some antioxidants. You'd be all right. I know it may seem a little daunting, but I want to remind you that you got this. Invest in yourself, take time to read a book or two, and just enjoy. Take some deep breaths. Stay tuned. I got some tips to help you manage your anxious, over social medialized life. Helps me. I want to help you. Thank you, guys. Yeah. We're gonna hook y'all up with some tips for managing life. Because sometimes I know me, I get distracted, get a little anxious. But something that helps me fill out forms and paperwork is a simple accordion folder. That's right, an accordion folder. Kind of like the accordion instrument. You've probably seen them at Staples or Walmart or Target. And it's great for filing. As a young person, we get junk mail, we get some mail that we kind of don't want to look at, but we need to keep. So that's a great place to start putting it. I keep my records, Now, if you have the means, a fireproof safe to put one of these in is great. So that way, if there is a natural disaster or some type of fire, I have experienced a fire and lost a lot of things and learned a lesson there. But, keeping an accordion folder, everything's central. It kind of lets you know, okay, yeah, that was in there. It's wiped out. Or, yeah, that's there. It's safe. I can find it when I need to. Another thing is, reward yourself for paying bills. And I'm not saying go out and spend more money, but taking a nice long walk, if you live by some water, just going out looking at the water, playing with the dog, loving the dog, petting the cat, just reward yourself, because that's good. That's decent of you. That's how we, got to stay strong in this. It's a grind. It's a hustle. And, that might mean no pizza on Friday night. That might mean no clubbing on Saturday night. But it's a great investment in yourself. And I don't know. I like to live a quality lifestyle. So just a suggestion. That helps me. Not being pissed off that I had to pay a bill, but actually being excited that I can. And part of gratitude. So the third thing is don't second guess your purpose. And I'm saying that to myself. Speaking that to myself. Reminding myself. Don't second guess my purpose. I know I'm supposed to communicate. I know I'm supposed to broadcast, act, model, all that stuff. So me second guessing it is trivial. It's childish. When I was a child, I thought as a child. I spoke as a child. But now that I'm a man, I need to start being the man I aim to be. And that means not doubting myself. So I really appreciate this platform, this venue. Can't wait to get some sponsors. Those are just a few tips. Maybe I'll start leaving some more at the end of every episode of how to be a black bisexual man in America. So, and it's, okay to be weird. It's absolutely okay. Dr. Seuss has got some quote. It's not a matter of being weird. It's a matter of who you're being weird with. So I'm going to find this right now because that is just going to grind my nerves. Okay. This is what it is. Dr. Seuss once wrote, "We are all a little weird and life's a little weird. And when we find someone whose weirdness is compatible with ours, we join up with them and fall in mutual weirdness and call it love." I love that. So maybe you guys are just as weird as me. Maybe you're not. You want to get a little weird. Go to my website, www.erhunter.squarespace.com. Please like, rate the podcast, subscribe, let it download, delete it later, but just let that bad boy download. And give me 15 seconds an episode. Maybe I can reel you in. Maybe you actually stay for a little bit. Look forward to interviewing Tony Merkel on the show. That's coming up. I'm going to reconfirm with him. I kind of did it a little sketchily over Instagram, a little shisty. But I also want to, boost his show, my episode on there, The Confessionals, TC 141, The Summoner, a.k.a. ER Hunter, a.k.a. Earth. Y'all know what it is, the rhetorical sake. So, yeah, and since I have so many damn ghost stories, I figured why not start telling them. So, as we prepare for Halloween, it's an American thing. It's not like I'm a Satanist. I ain't scared of it either. I think that is BS, Anywho, it's a time to have fun. And there is some paranormal stuff. There's ghosts in the Bible. There's witches in the Bible. Get out of my face. Anywho, so there's going to be a series of paranormal, spooky, UFO, ghost stories I'll start to produce here. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you are a small business, a growing business, a big business, and you've listened to this and you like it and you see that it's growing, you see that we're tapering up and we're getting better, go ahead and hit me up on my website, or you can email me at earth. That's Earth without the A, ERTHNPO, as a nonprofit organization, at outlook.com. Go to the website. Hit me up on Twitter at GodSentDog, IG at GodSentDog. Buy the book God Sent Dog, as well as Chasing God Alcoholically. Those are both available on Amazon. I know some people got some beef with Amazon these days. As a writer, as an independent, as a creative, Amazon has given me a platform to spread my love. So, when it comes down to money, this is a capitalistic society. I ain't gonna act stupid. I had to do what I gotta do. But if it comes down to an ethical standpoint, let's do some more research. Actually, you can email me and we can chop it up and maybe see how to resolve this if I'm doing something unethical by utilizing Amazon. Interesting conversation. In any case, it's been great, y'all. Get some sleep tonight. L-theanine, that's my go-to. Make sure you can take that. Consult your primary care physician. And God bless you if you don't have health insurance. I pray peace, love, and healing all over your life. Man, this country needs a healing. This nation, the fact that is possible. Somebody can't go see a doctor is ridiculous. Oh man, I got a lot to be grateful for. Thank you guys. Please share the show. Check out God Sent Dog. Check out Chasing God Alcoholically. And stop by the website, erhunter.squarespace.com. I love you. I appreciate you. There's so much more to come, so stay tuned. Peace.